the red side is the Urgot going to be locked in this time, not going to be taking the Ezreal in this round. KT can pick it away, but do they even want to?
I think Aatrox is a very obvious take here. The flexes are maybe a little bit less crazy. Unless you go Aatrox Scion, then you can play around with the Aatrox in multiple lanes. Otherwise, we just think we might be seeing a top lane matchup be locked in. Kingen hasn't really been playing any weird stuff in solo queue from what I've seen. A lot of
it's been pretty standard.
The meta stuff. Umti's Lee Sin is something I would like to see. Umti's Kayn is would be so exciting, but
he has been playing a very small amount of it, but
so
not a lot.
Umti and Haru are career Kayn players, so they are players who you do respect could lock in Kayn any moment. First round seems very bold, so I think this is just a hover. The Lee Sin I want stolen away. We get it. I like this as Umti is another one of our clean Lee Sin players. Always a bench player for KT who can play Lee Sin.
Yep, that's exactly right. And his Lee Sin so far in 2019, I believe, has a 30 KDA. So not too bad after the guest comp. As Lissandra going to be locked in again for Fly. That's run it back one more time. 3 in a row here for him. And the Ezreal, of course, is going to be locked in for Ruler because it was left available. BDD, what does he take this time? Or what does he decide to augment KT's draft with
Victor?
that they can flex around?
If they want Victor, they would probably have to take it now. See if KT oblige.
We saw Victor so many times in the hands of SKT earlier on that I'm having a weird, dirty feeling about it because it just didn't work at all against Griffin.
And it seems like they're going to be going AD carry after all. Wonder if Zenit and Gango have been sharing any notes on a Draven.
Yeah, there are some other options that we've seen work with the Tahm Kench that are awesome dudes, but I feel like you're right.
Just my suspicion that it wasn't a first round Victor. No one can really plug and play replace Victor and Vlad. Yes, you can go Nico or Morgana and things like that, but with Lee Sin already locked in, it's unlikely you will go for a bot lane Morgana. In a scenario like this, and Spirit's not here, so we can't talk about Morgana for now.
That's true. Olaf going to be banned away. One of Peanut's answers to Lee Sin taken off the board, and also was one of our premier Olaf players last year.
Do wonder if it's just Olaf Nocturne bans and then Peanut kind of has to fall back to a Sejuani or Zac.
Probably want him on more of one of these slower junglers so that KT can play their early game the way they want to.
Zac would be really good against KT's comp locked in already, mid-range threats, and Tahm Kench is actually answered very well by Zac. Wouldn't mind a Zac ban from KT Rolster.
Actually, they're going to be really, really smart. Hasn't been banned all series long. 2 seconds to go. It is one of the Peanut favorites, and if it's not banned, it should be picked. Not going to be banned here as the Alistar is respected once again. From Life.
So Gragas, likely to be the lane partner of the Ezreal again. Zoe banned from BDD. Let's see who the last pick is going to be for KT. They can continue to flex the Aatrox. Further, if they do lock in an 80 carry, tier list wise, there's some options available, but obviously the God tiers have been banned away early.
Yeah. Gango's not there, but Zenit might be able to try his hand at something like a Draven, but does he decide to lock in here is okay. Ryze being considered.
Can lane against Lissandra and Urgot, so it's fine. Does mean they're last picking for bot lane, unless we're going to be seeing bot lane Ryze. I think that's pretty trashy right now. It doesn't feel like it can do the previous days of just Ryze versus Vladimir, and of course Zac is taken here. It's a God tier pick against KT's mid-range comp. They get the Braum as well, and now we need to see KT actually let us know why they stuck around with last pick 80 carry. I think Caitlyn would be very safe. I don't think Caitlyn works in this particular. I think you have to go risky to justify the first round Tahm Kench.
I think so too. Jinx would certainly be risky.
It's an old pick for Sketch and Gango, but not for Zenit. And it's going to be Sivir, which does have some synergy with a mid-range comp. But you look at the Zac and say, if Zac gets a farming phase, I think that Gen.G might actually have the number here of KT Rolster.
But what did we see? We saw BDD able to start fights on the Aatrox and win them with On the Hunt available as well. The Aatrox will be able to get in there, wielded most likely this time by Kingen, but still haven't made up their minds just yet. Still 10 seconds before we know those solo lanes. Looking over the other side though, Gen.G just have the most plug-and-play Gen.G composition that we could ever see.
If you ever lose vision around mid lane though, Zac threat always has to be respected. 5 points, Elastic Slingshot, Ezreal, and Braum, so safe in mid lane sieging down. I understand how this comp can work from the side of KT, but it looks hard to execute, and they don't have those veteran voices. If you're going to play awesome dudes and burst damage comps that aren't about front-to-back team fighting at the right time, I don't mind there being not as many veteran voices, but now that we're going a bit more square, I think what's lost might be a bit more apparent than was in game number 1 and 2.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when you've been botching these early skirmishes as well, diving turrets a little bit too aggressively. Yes, if you've got an Aatrox in your hands, you've got World Ender to give you a little bit more there, but I feel like having finesse and really shutting your opponent out in the early game is the way that KT are going to be able to get over this hump, but they've got a lot of scaling advantages, and I'm looking at the Lee Sin thinking that he wants to try and get amongst it, hit level 6 and start kicking things around, but the Zac, if he just farms up alongside him, he's going to get there at a relatively similar click. It's looking very Gen.G favored in the draft, in my personal opinion.
Fans in full voice. 10:30 p.m. local time.
KT fans also in full voice. Couldn't hear too much tiredness, so people keeping their hearts in it. As it is a Thursday night, still school night here for a lot of the people in the audience.
Yep, the break doesn't start until after Friday's classes, so shout out to anyone staying out here 10:30 p.m. near the Heart of Seoul, near City Hall.
Yep.
Game number 3, final game of the night. And Peanut.
Just going to say that I do love that Zenit plays with Deft's Sivir skin and also played very, very well on the champion the last time we saw him. But sorry for rudely erupting.
That's fine. I was next to another Australian play-by-play in pastry time for Deft's most famous Sivir moment, the pentakill against LGD in Game 5 of the LPL Spring Finals.
Deft, what the heck, I believe is the quote.
I mean, it was a flash crit that won them the game there. He high-rolled on crit really high in that team fight, but sometimes good things happen. Went on to MSI, rest is history. For Deft, and the LPL has only gotten stronger over the past 4 years.
Had a bit of a dip after that, if you remember.
Hey, just like that VOD we cut earlier in the day, I don't remember it. I can't remember a time that China wasn't dominant.
Okay, good. Well, we've got the matchup. Minions meet on the bottom side of the map. And Snowflower and Zenit see what they can do in a true 80 carry matchup on the bottom side. Snowflower was able to get his licks in there onto the Gen.G bottom lane, and that's going to mean that lane control going to be given over to Zenit. They will be able to have some dominance over this level 2.
After you saw the Braum eat the Boomerang Blade from Sivir, would have been hard-pressed to think that we would see that lane pressure. Speaking of pressure, a bit of vertical jungling being done by Umti on the top side, just trying to track the Zac as much as possible. My kind of query was not Aatrox mid lane for BDD, because it's been his first Blood Factory where he gets solo kills every game. He's been popping off on that pick in this matchup. The reason to me to do this is to think about, okay, well, what does Ryze have in the matchup against Lissandra? He has hard crowd control, and he opens up Umti to come through mid lane pre-6 and make things happen. So I think this is going to be BDD and Umti trying to combine powers around the mid lane. We see them both on screen for now, but only about a double scuttle as we speak, because actually Ryze can win the Urgot matchup pretty hard if he gets a good start.
Yeah, I was thinking that this was a very flexible lane, which is why we waited until 20 seconds before talking about where these solo lanes were actually going. Roach back on a lot of comfort, but you can see Kingen actually having a decent time shoving this wave further forward, and he has a fair bit of augmented vision by Umti's visit to that part of the map.
Here's a visit.
Yeah, not going to be able to steal that one away. Peanut has the smite.
Thanks for the leash, says Peanut. Gets another camp down. That's camp for camp so far between Lee Sin and the Zac. Double scuttle, so a little bit of value loaded in there, but otherwise, parity between the two. Want to draw your attention to rune choice here by BDD. It is an Aftershock. We've seen a bit of Aftershock rise in tricky games, and there's a real chance that Zac comes in, Lissandra glides in, and Ryze caught in between 5 people, so he's gone for the cleanse. No TP to go with an Aftershock, but we've seen a lot of Aftershock in tricky games. This is a tricky Ryze game, but if you go phase rush, get a good start, and can lane against both Urgot and Lissandra in the side lane, the phase rush will get you chase down kills, and it's definitely the aggressive choice.
Yeah, and BDD has certainly shown that he likes the aggressive choice. Is that Ghost Borrow not going to spot Peanut.
Peanut loves ganking before any other Zac player would consider it, and he makes the right read here that Krugs are going to be up.
Yep, and the level 3 gank has certainly been something that he popularized earlier on in last year. Umti's going to come on over and spot him yet again, but this time on his side of the jungle, and Peanut's taking a lot of damage from here.
Let's watch the play here. Umti now gets the confirmation. Let's see if he calls down Kingen.
Yep, Sonic Wave is going to be on cooldown. Elastic Slingshot immediately as Peanut is, of course, respecting Umti, but takes away the big one.
Probably would have called down King in earlier, because if that was just a Krug start, then Zach wouldn't have his Elastic Slingshot available to get out. In the end, nothing doing overall.
Wow, B2D threading the needle there and standing just outside of the turret range. Fly very upset on this Lissandra.
Umti chasing down Roach, but I think just about getting to this vision plan. Nothing doing there, not going to be able to take that one away.
Nope. Well, has some idea about where the wards are already placed. But KT find themselves back in a game where they have lane priority. And
Umti has Gromp respawn timer, but they know it was stolen, so Roach is here.
Yep, Umti knew, but he knew a little bit too late as Peanut flashes to stop him from getting to any sort of Ghost Burrow or anything over there. Don't think you can actually safeguard to it, but they didn't want to risk it.
That was really smart by Gen.G as a team. Peanut communicates that Gromp was stolen. They know the respawn timer on it. The flash there is because he has a control ward in the brush there and can guarantee that he actually gets the Q here. So they know this timer, respawn of Gromp. Control ward comes down from the Lee Sin. That gives Peanut something to actually aggro. The Q in, Stretch Armstrong in later. Nicely done by Gen.G, and it's also a next level based on Gromp respawn timer.
Yeah. Control ward, of course, like you say, was already put down, but I believe, yeah, it had a 2-stack, so it could have actually got to that safeguard had he made it. That's why it looked like the flash might have been an overreach, but wasn't in the end. It's very safe as Zenit. Oh, wishes someone had hit a skill shot.
It's a nice team moment from Gen.G, because there's definitely been a lot of issues. I think mid-jungle synergy is still really up in the air. But when it comes to just communication between Roach and Peanut, looking a lot better, and maybe that will actually be the thing, because you know, Peanut's playing every game. That part is for certain. They don't have another jungler. Feels like Roach and Peanut. Juve definitely didn't have a bad game in game number 1, but Roach and Peanut, maybe they are the duo that for now have the synergy edge.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think Peanut has been the difference so far in this series. Like, his play has certainly transformed since moving into this one, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he's paired with Roach each time. That's first blood twice in a row. Going over to Peanut in tandem with Roach. He's gone back, got himself a Phage. Ruby Crystal hanging out there as well, well on his way towards the Black Cleaver.
That means that Peanut's gotten away with the Zac, going level for level against Umti. And we really like Zac. Against the first round here, it was already God tier when you see Aatrox, Lee Sin, and Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench has a few counters, but Zac does a really good job against him in multiple ways. On the first side, if Devour's down, well, you clump heads, and Tahm Kench always about 200 range or W range away from a Sivir. And also, if he's in the belly, you just kidnap him and you get a 2-for-1 special anyways. 2-for-1s all over the place for the Sejuani. Umti gonna do some counter jungling anyway.
Yeah,
steal away the red buff, so a big camp at least stolen away.
Gets to get rid of the Blast Cone as well, but of course Elastic Slingshot means that Peanut will be able to meet him in this Dragon Pit if Umti decides to start it up. Kingan's going to take down this Krug camp on the top side of the map just to make sure Peanut can't get there either, but he has made it to his Let's Bounce before Umti's got the Dragon Rage.
Already a problem.
Yeah.
Because we know how things go from there. And Sivir and Ryze didn't change things. Everyone here is 500-600 range, and thus Zac is very likely to get some big plays. This is definitely a game that Peanut might win MVP on for you Peanut fans out there, if it is a Gen.G victory, but that's still in the far-flung future. And with a Sivir, you never give the game over to the enemy. There's always a timestamp where Sivir decides all.
Exactly, and look, the range on the side of Gen.G also isn't exactly the hugest, and they want to be piling in to try and take you down. And what does Sivir like? She likes a Beyblade arena to throw her disc around in. Certainly might be able to do that as KT wants to all jump on top of Gen.G. Kidnaps could just be such high value, like you've been talking about from Peanut. Steal away some popcorn chicken.
All 3 camps up as Lee Sin was spending time on the enemy red side jungle. Power farming to start as Umti slowly making his way back to his jungle.
Yeah, a lot of pings coming in here as Roach going to clear out some vision. Umti comes on down as Snowflower and B2D relatively far away. Umti steals away his own red buff after taking Peanuts as well, but not going to be able to punish the Zac any further than that.
It's blind as well. Nicely done by Umti, but even though it was overall pretty standard stuff when it comes to counter jungle and pulling the camp into the brush by Peanut. So no red buffs. It's Zac, so at the end of the day, Not a red buff abuser by any means.
Yep. Zenit going to take a turret shot, but also going to get a bunch of that mana back, and also landed the back end of the Boomerang Blade with a BF Sword. That does now hurt, especially before Iceborne Gauntlet is completed, if that is where Ruler wants to go. 2 games as the Trinity Force user.
It's only single magic damage threat, and actually the armor, because you always take ricochets incidentally, is pretty high value, so I think Iceborne Gauntlet will be returned to here. Only reason not to would be if you spend all of your scrim time using Trinity Force, you just, you know, you're feeling the item break points and the damage numbers cleaner that way.
Yep. Ruler has been a fan of Trinity Force for quite some time, but does dabble.
Saw the Gathering Storm procs on screen, so both Zenit and Ruler, even in a meta that's defined largely by shorter games, is going to be returning to Gathering Storm.
Yep. Okay, Boomerang Blade is going to be blocked. Okay, Umti's found Peanut yet again. Oh, goes for the kickback, but can't find it as the kidnap. Moves him right into the back end, has to flash as a result of that, but followed with the blind Q. And now KT are going to be able to take down Peanut for free. Zenit getting the kill is exactly what they wanted. And that was just beautiful from Umti.
That was the icing on the cake. Zenit takes a lot of free damage. Going to wait for the Fleet Footwork proc there. Immune through the kick, and yet it did not matter. So Peanut has been so reliable on using the immune of the Let's Bounce at the right time. Taken down anyway. Watch the replay here. You can see the kick go on cooldown. As it starts, as the play comes through, kick comes through, and the immune gets him out, but not going to be enough to keep his life. Umti keeps his head very clean on the Lee Sin, and like you say, can't argue with the kill participation for Zen.
Yeah, pretty sure that was a blind follow. But that little ward in that tri-brush could have potentially seen him, but...
He put a control ward over the wall.
Ah, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, good. A pause.
Whose mouse has stopped working this time? It's Peanut, as you can see.
He's actually the most famous mouse issue offender in the
Yeah.
LCK. We don't have a confirmation it's a mouse issue, but Atlas is referring to Game 1 and 2, if you're joining us late, that we had some plentiful problems on the Umti PC.
And the referees are hanging around Peanut, and junglers seem to have mouse issues. That's where my logic is going to go.
Referee is chatting to Peanut, and all we know so far is that Peanut was the one to officially call the pause.
Yep. Can confirm that one, but doesn't look too upset about the particular pause timing, so maybe a bit of a silly mistake. I hope he didn't spill a sippy cup. Oh, you can see a bottle, so don't worry. Bottles,
No
not
exploding
sippy cups here.
hand warmers either.
Oh, God. Yeah. We've had some difficulties, haven't we?
Surprising they find it cold on stage, because it actually gets quite warm in the casting booth.
Yeah, especially yesterday. Yesterday was strangely warm.
If you're wondering about weather, it is very cold overall in Korea, outside the Grand Seoul and Lowell Park, which we are on the 3rd floor of the Grand Seoul Mall. It's, I would imagine, about at this point, -4, -5 degrees Celsius. That's really cold in Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's -6 degrees Celsius.
Oh, good.
So that is 6 degrees under freezing. For you imperial measurement users over there, us metric people are pretty good at understanding when water freezes, as it turns out. But KT, you can see Kingen, he didn't have a great game too. Wanting to... okay, apparently, guys, we are getting some information. Apparently, he couldn't see charging skills. So elastic slingshot and understanding where the ranges are and things like that, that was invisible for him as he was getting out. I don't think it would have changed whether or not he was going to escape that situation that he was in before.
Always good to pause first and ask the question. Otherwise, if that ends up being the crucial factor and you did not report it, that's not good.
Yep.
Again, it's just unfortunate that we've had other issues today, so it feels like a pile-on.
Yeah. First one for Gen.G, though. First one for Gen.G. So KT escaping it this time. Here from Korea, from New Zealand.
A New Zealand fan. Shout out to you. Thank you for coming over from Oceania. Hope you go home and watch the OPL.
Yeah. See a bunch of our mates. But yeah, well, they're getting their money's worth for their ticket this evening. This is certainly a lot of League of Legends in comparison to those who came along for our first series. If you've been watching this entire time, shout outs to you.
Peanut looks like he's very happy in the photo there.
Yeah. He looked happy as well when he was discussing his issue, which certainly wasn't anything trivial, like I was musing. We're all on your screen right here. He's all business at the moment. If you talk to him, though, he's a very soft-spoken gentleman.
There's been a lot more translations of stream comments and things like that. I love the
his
playful frenemy stuff with Core JJ. He was chastising him for dying so much in his LCS debut, but came back to Core JJ deathless on his Rakan game.
Yep, and told Ruler about it, of course.
You know, I think Team Liquid might do quite well in North America now.
Yes.
They already did quite well in North America last year.
They did.
It's going to be very hard to definitively say that they were better outside of talking about regular season scorelines, given that they 6-0'd the 2 finals they played in.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Snowflower, happy to be back from the TCLs. We get the confirmation that it was, in fact, not a bug, so I guess just about a toggle issue there.
Yeah, so we are going to be getting back into this game, but glad that we actually confirmed that one. Referee is still discussing, making sure that we do have full confirmation to get back into the video game, but it wouldn't be a game in this series without a little bit of a pause. So Peanut gets it all explained. We should be getting back into this one relatively quickly, and he doesn't look too perturbed by that particular eventuality.
More League of Legends Atlas. Let's do it. Let's
Yep.
cue the games. Oh, that's a nice.
Wow, that's a
Very
Vladimir
nice
right there.
Vladimir, as far as we can tell.
I think so. Maybe it's just really tired.
What are they saying here, G-Sun? What do you got?
Yeah. Let us know. She's in our ear.
Basically, it's Vladimir arguing that no one can take him down.
Yeah.
So there you go. So just a bit of a shout out there. Another talking about their graduation from high school.
I think asking Vladimir to take me to college.
I think Vladimir's definitely graduated. Hey, some Aussies.
Hey, here we go.
Well,
all right. Oh, so there's Aussies as well as the...
We're getting some nice waves. Appreciate it.
It's so cool that all the New Zealanders and Aussies are being friends as well.
They're looking surprisingly friendly.
I know.
We wouldn't be like that around New Zealanders.
We certainly
There'd be at least some playful biffo.
Yeah, no, well, not biffo. I don't think we'd be
playful
getting physical.
Biffos, all right.
Is it? Oh,
Did you not play fight as a kid, Atlas?
No, I'd always lose. Did it a little bit, but then, you know, just things all went wrong. I'm very uncoordinated.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, I look like I'm
You're
put together
roller
okay,
skater.
but it's not true. Yeah, I mean I can rollerblade, but I'm not very good at understanding where other people are gonna throw punches and things like that.
Why didn't you say not a good
isn't my
fighter?
thing. PvP
It's
isn't
true.
my
You
thing.
are a very big PvE person.
I am a PvE.
If there's a PvE game, you're getting in there.
Damn right I am. I'm a Donkey Kong boy. You know, I was brought up with platformers. I am all about patterns and memorizing them, and then I can make things work.
What's the best Donkey Kong?
DK2 is definitely the best Donkey Kong.
DKC2, right?
Yeah, Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey
2.
Kong 2 is probably some
Double Trouble
variant of the original Donkey Kong debut
Double
Mario
Trouble.
game.
Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, yes. Okay. Is Donkey Kong 2. I almost thought I said DK3 instead. That's a different one. No, it's Diddy Kong's Quest is the second one.
Diddy Kong's Quest. Dixie Kong's in number 3. Even I knew that, Atlas. I'm not a Donkey Kong
Dixie Kong is also in DK2, okay?
But not
so
named.
Who knows who's named? Yeah, exactly. It goes and Kiddy Kong never got a number 4, which is unfortunate.
Don't talk to me about Kiddy Kong. Only other Kong I can appreciate is Cranky Kong.
Well, Cranky Kong is fantastic, but if you play DK3 and press down, Diddy Kong is definitely
Is it canonical that Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong from the debut Mario game? I believe that's been heavily implied. I don't know if it's fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like he's a bit too small.
I mean, he's old, so he lost some of his size.
That's true. And old people in like video games like that are often generally extraordinarily tiny, even though your skeleton doesn't necessarily shrink
it's
that
just
much.
when I heard that, it made me feel better about Donkey Kong because I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He's not just generic old Kong. He's actually a special Kong.
So I wonder whether Donkey Kong actually knows who Mario is, because I feel like their universes
They
don't
do
necessarily
overlap a lot.
intersect a lot. No, outside of like
Parties.
Mario Party and Smash
I have a lot of
Brothers and
people I
stuff
don't
like that.
see outside of parties. I never see Artosis unless it's a party. We're friends.
So we're to assume that Cloud actually knows who Mario is whilst he's in Final Fantasy?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay, go.
What's more canonical? Smash Bros. Or Mario Party?
Mario Party, I would say.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I feel like Smash Bros. has just thrown too many different developers into the mix now. Having Sonic in a Nintendo game was just mind-boggling to me, but super cool.
Sonic's the one you play. It's not damn Metal Gear Solid Snake shooting people.
Well, I mean, it's just more to the fact of, like, it might be revealing my age a little bit, but Sega versus Nintendo was the big rivalry.
The 90s, baby.
Yeah, so just seeing Sonic even go anywhere near Nintendo games. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle coming out on the GameCube, it was just mind-blowing.
Nintendo definitely won that war.
Yes, they did. I mean, I think I remember that war because that was the one that we won. And then PlayStation had a pretty good go.
Let the record show favorite console of all time is the Dreamcast. Big fan.
Officially
of that one.
A video game hipster is Bob Smithy.
But I believe it did definitely bring on the immediate destruction of Sega as a company. So whoopsie on that one, as we are, I guess, still dealing with the present whoopsie.
Yeah, and interesting because we did get word that we were going to be coming out of this pause relatively quickly, but
we called them off. We said, damn it, we have Sega versus Nintendo beef
Yeah, we need to talk about whether or not Smash Brothers is canonical. And, look.
It could be worse. We could be talking about Kingdom Hearts, but we won't.
That's true. That's true. Which one?
Nope. 33 and a third.
Yeah,
I'm going to name names I think are Kingdom Hearts names. If you played the game of which is a Kingdom Hearts name and which one is not, most people who didn't know would be wrong.
Yeah, I know. I saw the list.
Give me an example here.
I never, like, look, I was a Nintendo boy and I was a bit of a purist, so didn't actually play through all of the Kingdom Hearts games. I know I'm going to get a lot of boos if we were going live to the audience. Thankfully, the audience can't actually hear what I'm saying, so it's just the entirety of Twitch chat that's having a go at me. But no, I didn't actually play through all of them, but I read the list of names and I was like, what the hell is this mess?
You know what you could do?
What could I do?
You could read the, like, narrative summary of what happened. Oh,
is it good? Is it the
banger.
best? All right, I need to check that out after this game.
It
or
reminds me of when I had a
going,
friend who really enjoyed watching soap operas.
Yeah.
So I just tried to be a friend, read the summary of the past year's storylines from this 5 days a week soap opera. There was so much amnesia and.
Oh yeah. Are you reading the Passions timeline?
Pretty much. Neighbors, actually. We're Aussies, so.
Yeah, we are. No, but like Passions was also on in daytime TV, and that one was even more ridiculous. That was the stupidest 90s soap opera that I have ever seen. It had random magic in it, but also was like teen romance drama. It made no sense at all. It was brilliant. Loved it.
Not as many.
Oh, she's just getting so much attention.
Yeah.
Damn, just advertising for trying to get some tuition money, I guess. I don't know. That was sort of what I read into
It's a
what was
really
saying.
good hand-drawn Vladimir.
That is fantastic.
As someone who can't draw, I'm a fan.
Yeah, me too. Me too. As Peanut's still having a conversation here, just allowing, understanding exactly what he's supposed to do and why there's an issue at all.
Fly doing some power napping, I noticed in the corner of my eye here. It is right now 10:54 p.m. Korean Standard Time. So, guys, if we reach the MVP interview and not many people are around, can confirm that right now, really full. Soon, with the trains and the public transit starting to stop, we'll start to empty out a little bit. But we're still very early in game number 3, so we could be going to the new day.
We could meet you in the AM, guys, in Korean Standard Time, and we're giving a lot of you guys some opportunities to wake up as well. So if you've just woken up and you're having your breakfast or driving to work or something like that, welcome to the stream. We've paused it for you. Just let us know exactly when we should resume, so that we can get back into the action. Peanut has been very, very nice in giving you as much time as possible.
So, there will be a break for you and I coming after Sunday, as there's no match week next week. Got big plans for potentially 10 days off. I know you've got some family-ish things for most of the Koreans around here, but as Westerners, there is going to be a lot of spare time to do some gaming, read some books, catch up on some movies.
Well, as a man with a better half, I'm going to be going to visit her family for a couple of days at least.
Cultural tour.
Yeah, down in Gwangju, which is one of the stops for Worlds.
What's the
last
food?
year?
What's the food thing you eat in Gwangju?
Oh, Gwangju is amazing. So they do this like barbecue, but they have like this strange noodle thing that they put over the barbecue at the end, and it's like so they put these like sesame leaves down and then noodles on top, and then the game starts. It's when we finally get to a topic that we actually wanted to talk about.
What was the game with the food? I'm hungry now.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, we started the game up again, and hopefully, Papa, we can get something to eat after this.
Thank God that you interrupt your discussion so that we can talk about this cycling of heal by the Tahm Kench, the Ignite top lane, and Sivir and Ezreal farming.
All right, well, I mean, that's going to continue. We're going to get pushed by KT in almost all the lanes. You can see B2D had some time off moving up towards this Rift Herald as Peanut not going to find any joy bottom lane.
He tripped.
He fell over. Oh, no, it still doesn't work. Oh. Hey, good news. We will be able to discuss the food in Gwangju.
Do you have any other good news?
No. No, it's all pretty negative news.
Well, at least Peanut's laughing about it.
Hey, no. Okay, I do have some good news. on Friday,
Uh-huh.
you could potentially be casting with both me and Brendan.
Wait, isn't it Brendan's day tomorrow?
That's what I mean. But if this continues until tomorrow, then you'll do both.
Oh, good. Some good news.
Look, it was a stretch. I had to find something. Come on. All right, I think Peanut having another giggle. I really hope he's laughing because it was because he fat-fingered the button instead of it being an actual bug.
Well,
that would be pretty good.
All he can do is caress his hot pack and wait on as our refs will have to investigate this issue.
Yeah, and when do we start actually talking about player fatigue? I mean, it's getting pretty late.
I think caster fatigue has set in with some of your recent jokes.
I mean,
I know I'm done listening to you.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I think that started at the beginning of the first series.
The players your heart goes out to in particular are Kingin and even
Yeah,
OT with his first stage games for KT. As a duo, that's going to be a little bit different here. So Kingin in general, who's played that one set earlier in LCK Spring, and just not a lot of professional games behind him, right? It's a very different thing. Did make his professional debut last year. Broke that SMEB streak of games where he had actually never not played in a series since he debuted all the way back on I Am #1, Incredible Miracle #1 back in 2013, I want to say.
Yep.
Definitely played in 2014. I believe he played some games at the tail end of 2013, but I could be telling a lie.
Yep, then on the Rocks Tigers, of course, after that, moving over to KT Rolster and just not having anyone to sub in for him. That is going to result in Smeb always being the one on the Rift. Not anymore, and not today for the entire series.
Shout out to the Gen.G coaching staff, and also in the audience here, specifically the Gen.G faithful. A lot of the upper management is here, and they're not leaving early. They're not going to watch one game, get on camera, and leave. Shout out to you guys for sticking around to what could be a very bitter end for either Gen.G or KT. Remember something that we haven't discussed, because it was many hours ago now.
Yes.
3 hours ago. This game is 8 versus 9. Winner gets one set clear of 9th place. The loser is kind of marooned on an island with Jin Air right at the bottom of the table. So while this isn't SKT Griffin, it's kind of the reverse SKT Griffin in some ways, given that you just don't want to be grouped with Jin Air and their inability to pick up match victories, which seems to possibly extend quite far in spring 2019.
And the interesting thing is, there's a bit of a dichotomy here, because we do have only 3 victories, one victory coming in for both KT and Gen.G. However, if KT win, they actually get over Freak of Freaks. If Gen.G win, they aren't able to, now that we're in a 2-1 situation. So it means a little bit more if KT are able to win this game. They will move up to 7th place instead of just hopping up one and leapfrogging one another.
Some notes being noted down by the refs here as we try to understand the Zac issue that's plaguing us.
Yeah, it seems like a very confusing situation. Haven't heard an elastic slingshot range indicator bug before.
But remember, this is the cost of doing business in the future. Previously,
that's true.
Korea was 1 week behind on patches because the match week started on Tuesday and patches went live on Wednesday morning. Now, because we start the week 1 day later, we're back in the future. This used to be the way. Back in the OGN Champions days, you're on a different Twitch chat, you were paying for HD, but the patches came to Korea earlier. Now, finally, the return to those days, and sadly, some bugs that hopefully the LCS and LEC regions can look to find a fix for.
Yeah, we're just going to be ironing them out. We'll get the steamroller and get rid of those kinks in the road as we find them. But it's been a day riddled with them. It's not necessarily bugs so much as, peripheral problems and things like that plaguing us. Our first series didn't have too much of that, but this one has been a bit of a problem.
So I'm going to ask you a question. It's a very personal question, so...
Oh, hit me. Let's go.
I'm going to trust you. Everyone's got a film that everyone else talks about that they haven't seen, but they kind of don't rush to tell people. Because they're just like, yeah, good film, you know? Like, they try to just walk around the subject. What's your shame, your secret shame film that you haven't seen, that everyone else has? What is it, Atlas? Come on.
Oh, mine's
Fess
really
up
bad.
now.
Mine's really bad.
What, is it like The Lion King? Like, how bad are we talking?
No, it's not The Lion King. I haven't seen Forrest Gump.
You know I haven't seen Forrest Gump either. So I'll give you that one. You get a reroll.
Oh yes, we trust Fold again.
We'll go until there's one
Another
I
one.
haven't seen.
I actually don't think that there's any that I am aware of that I should have seen that I haven't.
Okay, well, I've got large gaps, so give me something here and let me at least scoff at you before I share all the movies I haven't seen. Somewhere Achilleos is listening to this tilted.
Oh,
he knows.
Really?
I just don't watch big movies. So.
I mean, Achilleos probably knows my list more than I do because he's the one that tells me that I need to watch movies.
Again, I'm not talking about like a 2018 release. I'm not talking about like
no,
Spider-Verse or something. I'm talking about like
classics. Oh, Godfather series. I haven't seen any of them.
Me neither. You get another reroll. Come on, there must be something I watched.
Okay, well, I mean, I've seen Shawshank Redemption. Have you seen that one?
Yes.
Okay.
But, I mean, look, we're going to get to names that I haven't seen really fast. So it needs to be stuff that you haven't seen that I have seen.
So far, we're 3 for 3
I know.
with being the same. And there are a lot of people very disappointed in us.
Except for the wireless mouse. Has gone very
that
well.
That wasn't a trust fall. And also, I was in your camp originally, and I don't play League of Legends without it plugged in. Okay, so that is a very different
Come on, we're playing
All
this
right.
game. Give me something to scoff at you about.
Oh,
that's how this relationship works. You say silly things, and I laugh at you.
Now I need to look further into the banks of movies.
However, will you find time to do that?
Remembering a thing you haven't seen is just a ridiculously hard thing because the reason I haven't seen it is because I can't remember to watch it.
But the reason you remember is you've been assaulted about it. People are like, you haven't seen Godfather? What kind of person are you?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, that one's happened a lot. Forrest Gump I get every single time.
But I'm sure you can say life is like a box of chocolates, like he says in the movie.
I can say it. But,
there you go. Well, I mean, that's like watching the movie, right?
I guess so.
As far as I can tell, it's basically Willy Wonka 2, whatever. Anyways.
Have you seen Willy Wonka?
Yes.
Yeah, so have I. All right. I'm trying to think of like. Let me have a scan of our Twitch chat. I wonder whether they've got any.
All right, movies we should have watched. Twitch chat. We got some time here. You can pull up Twitch chat for this.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction. Have you seen Pulp Fiction?
Yes.
Yeah,
but
so
again, we're playing the game where you haven't seen the movie.
I know, but I have, and apparently we have to see the Godfather. All right, I'm finding one that I haven't actually seen. Citizen Kane, haven't seen Citizen Kane.
No, I haven't seen it either. Let's keep going. You get to reroll again.
Oh my God, Lord of the Rings?
I have seen the first one.
Well,
You've seen of course, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I know. I have seen that one, but I was asking you. Interstellar, I've seen that one.
You don't have to name.
Citizen Kane.
We already did that one.
Shrek
this game
2.
Is easy.
Have you seen Shrek 2?
Yes. You haven't seen Shrek 2?
Yes, I have seen Shrek 2.
Again, this game is where you haven't seen the movie.
All right, so I got to find one that I haven't seen. I've seen all of these.
See, we've watched some movies. I must admit,
a lot.
I've watched a lot of these movies too.
Oh man, I can't find one that I'd like. Apocalypse Now, haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh
reroll,
my God!
baby.
Event Horizon was not a good movie.
I've seen that one for some reason. Whoops.
Oh, have you seen Caddyshack?
No.
Oh, it's extraordinary. That movie is brilliant. You got to see that one. That is the first one that I've
really.
got
There's a lot of movies being named by the faithful here. All 31,045 people on
but
Twitch
I mean,
chat.
I've seen.
Should we open up YouTube chat to give them a chance as well?
Someone mentioned Willow. Oh, that is going so far back.
All right, YouTube chat gets in there as well. We can work this out.
Oh my goodness, Papa Smithy. I've seen way too many movies, guys. I mean, I'm trying to read as quickly as I possibly can, but oh my goodness.
I hope someone's Googling movies.
Yeah, just read out the top list of IMDb, I guess. I don't know. No.
You are a great movie watcher.
I am, dude. I'm very good at it.
I'm getting a lot of lucky oversights here.
Now understand that I haven't seen.
Have you
Forrest
seen
Gump.
Stargate?
Yes.
Okay, I have.
SG-1 and Atlantis, but the rest of them.
Movies, right.
All right, and seen the movies. Yeah, of course.
There's only the Stargate movie, which I have seen.
Yeah.
I actually have seen the SG-1 movies as well.
I know, but they're actually good.
Were they all good?
Dude, it's Richard Dean Anderson. He's MacGyver. How can it not be good?
He wasn't even in all of them.
He was in all of SG-1
what
and a bit at the beginning
of
Atlantis.
30,000 people on Twitch chat do you think know who Richard Dean Anderson is? I'm going to go with maybe 15%.
Oh, yeah, give it a solid 22%. If you say MacGyver in the sentence, I guess they probably know.
But do you reckon they know MacGyver as in like roughly the appearance, or do they know the idea of MacGyvering it? Which
I know.
Was like a verb
is it a noun or a verb?
I think
like
for 2000s kids, it's a verb.
Yeah, I guess so. Because you're going to MacGyver yourself something together, and your dad said it that one time. And
come on, there must be a movie here, Atlas. They're still naming movies.
Planet of the Apes, the original, I have not seen.
Me neither. I've seen some of it. but you know.
The Human Condition?
Nope.
Yeah, I also haven't seen that one. Apparently that's good.
Have you seen Kimi no Na wa?
No.
All right, there's a movie you should have seen that I have seen.
What's
it's
it about?
Kind of a recent. What's your name?
Oh, wait, yeah, I have seen that one. I
Oh,
just don't
come
know
on,
the name.
Atlas,
I don't
come
know the name
on.
in Japanese. I'm sorry.
All right, we're getting an update here. It seems like the players are going to take a break, so that means the podcast can reign supreme.
Yeah, the KT players are going to the bathroom.
Get back to the movies, Atlas.
We're just going to continue having a conversation with you guys in I almost read out one that I definitely shouldn't have read out.
Good choice.
This is why we don't have Twitch chat on broadcast normally, because then we'd just randomly be scoffing at laughter for no reason, and it's because of you guys. And, Never-Ending Story. What a beautiful movie.
Good movie.
Yeah. Knew you'd seen that one.
You're the best at watching movies of anyone I know, and Achilles is really good at watching movies.
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing very much of, like, movies that I know I should have seen, but I haven't.
Have you seen the Grand Budapest Hotel?
Oh, World of World 3 times. That is definitely a good one. Grand Budapest Hotel is one of my favorite movies of all time. Wes Anderson is a genius.
I'm seeing if Achilles actually messages me at some point.
Yeah, Achilles needs to actually dive in on this one.
Why is Achilles
tell us
not
all
in the
of
Twitch
the ones
chat?
that.
What is he doing?
I know, he's probably
I've seen
out
Donnie
having a
Darko.
life. I don't know. Yeah, Donnie Darko's, that's a good one. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, also a great one.
No one who went to university around our age didn't watch Donnie Darko.
Yep, that's true.
It was a rite of passage movie.
It was, and also we studied it a lot during our years in high school as well.
Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
Oh, of course I have.
What
My
a great
favorite movie of all time.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like I'm skeptical you would have said that if I asked what your favorite movie of all time is. I don't know what that says about me.
That is the one answer that I have. It used to be The Matrix, and then I saw Good Will Hunting, and it was Good Will Hunting from then on. Oh, Monty Python.
Have you seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang?
Yes, I have. We mentioned that just before.
Okay. That's why it was
Dick
on my
Van
mind.
Dyke is incredible. His episode of Scrubs.
It was really
While
good.
sad, it was very, very good. Oh, man.
I guess it's time for me to start biting the bullet
I
on
feel like you
movies
need
I
to,
haven't
man,
seen.
because there's just so
All right.
many of these
Now
that are definitely good answers. By the way, guys, I've been reading so many, and there are so many that are just brilliant.
There's some great
choices.
movies mentioned here, and there's also movies like the one that someone just
Les
mentioned.
Mis is that's not a good movie. If you've seen the stage play, it's a beautiful stage play, and I've seen that.
Has it gotten to the time of night where you have to really like talk about what stage plays are better than their adaptations?
I don't know. I guess so. It just happened.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I have a lot of gaps in my movie watching.
All right. Start reeling them off, Pup Smithy.
I mean, I think we don't even need Twitch chat for this one.
Sharknado. I haven't seen Sharknado.
I've never seen the Miyazaki film.
You've never seen any of them?
No. None of
What?
them. I've turned them on once, but I haven't watched any of them.
Really?
There's big gaps, Atlas. There's a reason why we were playing your side of this game
You know,
first.
like, you really would enjoy those films.
You know who my neighbor Totoro is? It's the support on Sandbox Gaming.
Oh, my goodness.
That's all I got.
Oh, my God.
I just don't
Wow.
watch that many movies. Now, TV shows, as you know.
Yeah, you are very good
We're both
at TV
purveyors
shows.
of the TV shows, but
I
movies,
recently finished Sex Education, which is fantastic. Papa recommended that one to me. Really nice move. Nice TV show.
I like how we could just say that. It is the name of the show.
Yeah, I mean, sexism.
It is a great show.
Yeah, just don't talk about the action. Yeah, okay, never mind. It is great. Oh, Bruce Almighty, also a great film.
No,
I haven't
no,
actually.
It isn't.
It is.
No.
It has one.
No.
So
no.
there was
no.
there was a scene in that movie
Why am I letting
that
you talk?
almost made me cry with laughter. I almost couldn't breathe.
I was worried you were touched emotionally during that movie.
No, of course not.
You said almost made me cry. That was the
No,
fragment I heard.
it was like my face was completely red. I couldn't breathe just because it was too funny. When he makes, I believe, Eric was his character's name, and he was just speaking like an idiot, and it's just incredible.
If you wanted to talk about maybe some of his earlier calendar, I could definitely get behind it.
Oh, I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Me neither, actually. I tried to watch it, but I couldn't get into it.
No, I just never really got to that point. Oh, there was one movie. There was one movie that you'd seen, and you told me that I had to, and I thought that was rich coming from you, and I can't remember what it was. It's an old film. Damn it. Oh, it would have been the perfect one.
Oh, wait, are you going to ask Twitch chat to keep naming movies?
No, that's okay. But, because you told me to watch it, then I forgot it again. And then I went home and I didn't watch it, did I?
Classic Max.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it works. Oh, my goodness. The
Pause
Raid
it.
1 and 2 also good suggestions.
Is
I'm going to stop
ongoing.
looking at Twitch chatters, let's bring it back to exactly why we're sitting here talking about movies. If you just turned on the stream, you're probably expecting the
Thank
LCK.
you for coming to the Papatless Music Podcast and Movies Podcast and just Live Podcast, Break Podcast, all podcast, Papa's Mad Life.
Yep.
Coming back in a big way. Potentially last episode before the Chinese New Year break.
Exactly. Still still one option for you as far as getting Papa's Mad Life on there, but LS might have a Mad Life on the weekend. Opportunity for him over Saturday and Sunday.
He needs his own name, man. I don't know about this LS's Mad Life. I think we need... I think he can coin it.
I think he can coin it. Yeah, I was gonna.
It'll be Yu-Gi-Oh related, and I'll look at it quizzically.
I want it to be Goosebumps related. We really related on that one.
Shout out to all the fans around the world sticking around, but also all the fans in the audience. People aren't running for the exits just yet, but 11:15 p.m. Korean Standard Time. Again, the schedule very different in Korea compared to LCS, especially LCS starts much earlier in the day over in NA.
Yep.
And the LEC also doesn't get to the wee hours.
Okay, we are trying to restart the game. I believe not the entire game, not getting a remake or anything like that, but we're trying to restart Peanut's computer to make sure that the issue isn't not going to persist, but we'll see exactly whether or not we're going to be able to. No confirmation that that will work as of now, but I do, as someone formerly working in IT, I do like it when you just turn it off and
live or replay, live or replay.
I believe it's live.
All right, let's watch for an elastic slingshot. Wait, why are we watching anything else? Yep. Here we go.
3, 2,
Can he elastically slingshot?
And gets in there. Yeah! Doesn't land it, but Stretch Armstrong means that Zenit has to watch out. The pullback onto Snowflower. Peanut just going for the easier target. Didn't want to give away a spell shield.
Best elastic slingshot of the night. Loved it. Beautiful play there. However, unfortunately, they lost the Rift.
What is this game, Papa Smithy? What movie is this? Have you seen this one?
They got gameplay in the way of our podcast.
I know, it's so weird. All right, and that was just when we were going back to, talking about something normal instead of just talking to Twitch chat. But up towards the top side of the map, we do have the Rift Herald taken and immediately popped down. Yeah, we wanted proactive play. Looks like we're going to get it as Roach turns up, and he's like, why are there 3 things in my lane? 2 of them people, 1 of them Shelly.
Oh, and Umti actually gets out of leash range there, so full gold goes to the Aatrox. No threat on the turret, but gold in the matchup going to be very welcome. Shopping time was better for Roach than it has been for Kingen. The next back will have to be the important one, and apparently normalcy has returned.
Oh, stops the back. Get dumped. Yeah, Zenit actually gets the spell shield in time, but no reason. That was great. They are going to go back home, and actually it was for a reason, because there's only blue vision. They're on the bottom side of the map. Gold is completely even, but the vision investment certainly a bit topsy-turvy for both of these teams. KT focusing topside because they just took the Rift Herald. Now need to move that vision towards the bottom side of the map. Zenit going to teleport back down there.
Reminder of our analysis that we're really liking Zac against the mid-range threats of KT, but in Sivir 6 items, you never know for sure. Speaking of the Zac against this team comp, looking for a gank topside. Kingen has ult and flash, so don't really see how this is going to be pulled off. And Peanut didn't want to take his Gromp, just goes for the counter gank and finds nothing.
Yeah, very close to the vision range, but unable to actually find elastic slingshot range. As Kingen gets some nice knockups here onto Roach. Not going to get the sweet spot of the last hit of the Q, but finds the others. So he's just cycling his abilities. Roach shoves his wave further forward, has a 13 CS advantage, but it's the only lane that Gen.G do have an advantage in so far.
And his birthday buff only lasts another 43 minutes, Atlas.
Hey, that's true.
Over to tomorrow, where he's just a non-birthday boy. Haha, we say to him.
Roach probably told Peanut that secretly when they're not supposed to really talk, but he's like, birthday buff wearing out 45 minutes, just deal with it,
So far, he's 1-0 in a series they're 1-1 in, so Roach is a good luck charm.
Yeah, Winter's Bite now on cooldown. Zenit did use the spell shield to get rid of it. Umti comes down, clears out this control ward, and they have repositioned their vision.
Roach wants to keep Kingen in lane as long as possible. The 320 gold, and it's the next shopping trip been delayed. Because Kingen hasn't found a time to back. Mid lane we talked about, the only reason to run the Rise was to play around mid lane. Haven't seen that so far, and now bot lane.
Yeah, not going to be able to land the elastic slingshot, but they pull Zenit back in. Devour is going to come through, but they knew that. On the Hunt comes off, and I think that might have been a panic button as KT decide not to Realm Warp themselves in.
A lot to panic about, though. If the stun comes in, yes, Cleanse is there, but then you have to use Cleanse, and thus the Kidnap is 100% going to get the double kill. They're Move away from that. Peanut continues to fight.
Conti not going to give over the Rift Scuttler without a fight. Gets the smite in there as Peanut was trying to get Stretch Armstrongy on top of it.
Visual lag. Yeah, just for
a
a second there. That one's acceptable, guys. Not the players receiving that one. That's just on our end.
Should we pause?
You know, I think we paused enough.
Okay. Well, Kingen up here will easily be able to deal with this minion wave as he's reached some parity as the waves are starting to crash further forward. I think that might have just been more about Roach missing some minions rather than anything else, because Roach did have an advantage up towards the top side of the map.
Won't have to cycle his ghost just yet, as the teleport was a little bit behind Kingen's. It was teleported second by Roach, so
yeah,
cooldown should be back for Kingen first.
All right, Zenit clears out the wave very, very easily. Doesn't have his Time Kench around him, but the Catfish not seen on vision just yet. Gen.G going back home.
Here's Peanut. 4 levels down on the top laners. Gonna fall further behind with all those XP nerfs, but he might find Kingen.
Yep, knockups come in and Kingen wastes no time with that flash. A lot of respect. Holds on to World Ender, but he's not doing any funny business with Peanut this game.
You know what happens when the coach sees you die while your team's on the Drake? You might get a Paddling Atlas, so ooh, smart of him to back away from that. Speaking of paddling, Turret takes a paddling through all this in mid lane.
Oh yeah, Fly's taking a paddling. Oh no, Peanut is actually the one caught out. See the mid lane, assume it's Fly, wasn't this time. Thankfully Peanut has his flash, able to get out, but certainly wanted to have that summoner spell available for himself.
But 3 good things happen for KT in a row. They get out from top lane, they get the gank, and they push bot side, and they take the Drake. 2 Drakes to the good. LT coming in.
Yeah, no Unbreakable now is not going to follow the Q in, and Zenit has the spell shield. Now can't block something like the Glacial Fissure. Teleport, of course, has to be taken there from Fly. Not going to take the Claw as King, and immediately the World Ender comes down, and now this is the fiesta that we've been looking forward to in this series. Life gets onto his teammates, uses the stopwatch, and somehow no one has died, and they're not going to Realm Warp. Is hyper-aggressive, all on top of the poor Braum, and 3 kills erupt out of nowhere. KT, that's the trump card.
That is the time to use it too. The other advantage for BDD on the rise. He'll choose the right time for a Realm Warp. Brings in the minions. They go to mid lane. These are rotations Monty will be stoked about.
Oh, hell yeah. We know he's a KT fan. Maybe he's a fan of this new KT as well. This turret going to take a lot of damage. Thankfully, for Gen.G fans, it is after 14 minutes and not going to be getting the plating. And Roach has also taken the turret down on the top side of the map. But damn, KT going to be feeling the momentum after that one.
BDD banks the gold. It's for you, mate. You deserve it on that one. You don't need it to be your birthday. He wants to be a party pooper for Roach's birthday party.
Yeah.
Roach didn't get invited to his surprise party. Feels bad, man. He doesn't have teleport. He can't attend. Everyone else comes bot lane. Watching this play down. Aatrox just turret dies because he's got the ultimate. Sad boy Roach having a solo birthday party. But we thought it was over and there was going to be egg on the face. We thought that after all, Gen.G were going to make it all a clever ruse. But the minion wave comes with you, so there's actually nowhere to kite out. Gen.G don't expect it, and KT roll in. 3 kills to the good, a turret in the mid lane, and they get the bot lane turret as well. They get everything.
Yeah. I was hoping for another yay, but I'll take just a yell from BDD, as he's the one that orchestrated that beautiful play, and he'll get a Banshee's Veil as the answer to it. I believe that was outright for the Rise. 1-0-3 now. This guy's going to be so hard to keep down.
Gen.G surprise parties. Look, there's a lot of great things about Gen.G, but there's surprise parties. It looked like it was fun, but they just didn't invite the birthday boy.
Yeah, Roach is like, next time I'm not allowing my family to make the party for me. I'll let my friends do it, as Peanut doesn't get the Stretch Armstrong to work onto Snowflower.
All right, what does this all mean? It means KT jump up in gold. Understandable. 2 turrets. How about a third one? And 3 kills to the good. That also means that Sivir, you blink and miss it. She's got 2 items, but so does Ezreal. That's bad news when Sivir should be scaling and has a more expensive build than what the enemy has. This could still be all undone. There was a lot of summoners used, and Peanut can still be a win button on this Zac that we were loving in the Champion Select. But everyone on KT is feeling more spry, because suddenly it's Zac having lost 3 outer turrets after those outer turrets looking pretty imperviable just 2 minutes ago.
And also, as we open the map up, this composition that wants to rotate around with the Realm Warp, with the Abyssal Voyage, can catch people in rotation much easier than what Gen.G has in a very standard, we want a team fight and protect our ruler front-to-back composition. Of course, KT's a little more like that than it used to be, but with no true tank, it isn't necessarily a composition that wants to just go head-to-head against Gen.G. So pick certainly an opportunity now that the map has gotten a lot shorter for Gen.G.
Some of the transformations have come in, and also choices are very smart. KT want to fight now. They're not waiting for Sivir. It might happen. Look at BD's item choices here. They're actually really heads up. He goes Banshee, Veil, and Stopwatch in this game so that he can try to play make, and also so that Lissandra and Zach don't make him basically have no positioning because the CC chain will come in.
Yeah.
He's gone Merc Treads, Cleanse, Banshee, Veil, and has the Overshield. So he is actually a brawler, does high damage in the build, and doesn't have to think about his position. It's really intelligent and allows him to be a quarterback that some Risers can never be, like we've seen earlier today.
And with the phase rush as well as On the Hunt being available in a team fight
They're
from
getting in
Zenit,
there.
yeah, he's going to be able to fight whoever he wants, and he won't be CC'd, given the plethora of counters to that he has in his arsenal.
And armor is stacked. The magic resist is supposed to be an afterthought, but now with BDD battle ready, it could be the tune of quite a large number, maybe even 10% large.
And in order to get him respected, he needed to get that sort of respect.
If he falls
with
behind,
the magic resist. Yeah, exactly.
armor stack him, baby.
You build armor and then you have no worries there at all. There is vision in the back of this pit as Umpty pulls out the Infernal Drake, but this is the first big Drake. True Shot Barrage just going to help KT lock this one down. Peanut wants to get the steal, but doesn't. Of course, Lee Sin pretty damn good with the execute damage as Kingen fighting against Roach. They've already started this one. Flash comes out. Kingen just going to dash through the wall with his Umbral dash.
He's alone.
Lands the Infernal Chains, but Roach able to disdain to get himself out of the way.
TP advantage was there from Roach, but they don't actually have a TP ward he likes, so he never TPs, walks down, and is actually cut by Aatrox. They just have a bit of a fight on the top, and that is great news for KT, because in a number disadvantage scenario with the big potential of that happening, effectively it never happened, so it's kind of like they got a free TP to the bot side, and we remember that TP was hella high value.
Oh yes, oh yes. Followed up by a pretty high value Realm Warp as well. But in order to give KT a plus mark and to talk about them with a lot more happiness at the end of this series, we need them to not throw this lead away that they've been able to pick up with such a great play on the bottom side. They did this in game number 1, and it bit them with some over-aggression. You can see that's why they're probably playing with a little bit less reckless abandon than they otherwise could have. A lot of gusto can come into your team if you're able to get a lead like this in that fashion. They've got themselves all of the 3 Drakes that have spawned. Next one going to be Infernal as well as Snowflower. Going to walk back to vision that they have.
However, there is still that clear but of this comp is answered very cleanly by what Gen.G have and the Zac in particular, and this is not just KT Rolster LCK champions. It feels wrong to say that none of the players here were on that winning team, because Smeb and Score are on the bench, and of course the rest of the team has departed. So because of that, our guarantees of skillful playing out of the late game team fights are not there for KT Rolster. We can't give them the benefit of the doubt on that. It is still 8th and 9th, I believe, on the ladder right now playing out. So given that, we hold our tongue and we wait to see what unfolds.
Well, BDD's going to steal away a blue buff, and if anything has stayed the same, it's the fact that BDD is an absolute monster. Of course, for Kingzone last year, now the pride of KT Rolster. Weird thing to talk about. Used to be UCal, but he's now in a Freak. All right.
BDD hasn't required much resources to manufacture his leads in victories. He's done a really good job there. No solo kill in games 2 and 3, but the solo kill in game number 1 and the Aatrox-Lissandra matchup was eerily familiar to his times with Grace, and we've actually risen up on Grace appreciation. He had some great games after that match.
Some of our better Zoe games have been with Grace at the helm, and on a team that is doing as poorly as Jin Air certainly is something worth talking about. Kingen waiting for a time to jump on top of Roach. It's probably when the Purge is on cooldown, just FYI. He's going to go back home. Kingen absolutely fine, pushing up a little bit further down here because there is a lot of vision available for KT. And Zenit just free to hoover up these minions. 20 CS ahead of Ruler and 2-0-2 on this Sivir, who's gone very respectful. Merc Treads and the QSS completed.
Gen.G can never give up deep vision in their blue side jungle because the enemy team, it's not just about, well, we need to get space to contest a Baron, as Rule has to potentially fight for this red buff. Remember, it's Realm Warp and Abyssal Voyage. The rotational speed here already shown. We're seeing a committal.
Yeah, teleport is going to come down as Peanut wants to get the kidnap. They're going to get one of the picks. No, Umpty able to go into stasis. Infernal Chains is there. It's going to pull back Life, who's not necessarily the target that they want, as Ruler gets his first kill of the game in the second for Gen.G. Does he have the Arcane Shift to get onto BDD, or does he even want to? As KT not going to get chased after, and Fly gives up on getting on that Claw of Doom to follow.
KT's lives should have been flashing in front of their eyes. I saw Peanut lighting up a team fight. It doesn't quite happen. And in terms of summoners, they actually only lose 2 flashes on Umpty and Snowflower, and a single pick. Stasis so important there, otherwise Flash Urgot might have just wrecked the team fight with the ultimate arming. The ultimate doesn't arm in the end. We're going to watch the replay. This is the class from multiple angles that Gen.G's draft was about, and the mid-range threats can't fight against all the zoning impacts. But Umpty, notice, never actually fear beyond death. He does flash at the end awkwardly, but it certainly isn't the worst-case scenario for the side of KT.
Peanut does get himself a blue buff though, and he hasn't been able to take control of any sort of jungle camps. You see the gold? It's going to be just the gold of the kill. And Infernal Drake going to be coming up in 20 seconds. You're going to have to beeline back in there, Peanut, but he goes back, gets himself the Gargoyle Stone Plate. Feeling more battle ready is the Zac. This Drake is going to certainly be the first priority for both teams.
Right now, the setups around it. Good deep vision here for a gank. Speaking of ganks.
Yeah, Realm Warp going to come in as Ruler gets over the wall. Life stands behind him, and they do get to relative safety. Fly is exhausted, but can he actually wait it out as they just turn? They get on top of the Aatrox. World Ender is there, but he has nowhere to go. Flashes instantly, but goes into stasis. First kill onto BDD is a huge deal, and now Peanut looking to get in the middle of it, grabs the kill, and Snowflower taken out. Front to back team fighting, Ruler in safety, and Gen.G are looking for a Baron.
KT try the flanks to get low health members, but BDD dies in the end. And like you say, Gen.G onto Baron, and there's no smite to answer it.
Yep, not a chance, Umpty. It's a couple of mistakes in a row that you can't really have happen, but BDD just trying to bite off more than he can chew. Infernal Drake is going to come in, but Gen.G, can they actually get this? It's relatively early. Is Zenit also wondering about whether he can get his?
Gen.G want both, and that's why they fight for the Infernal. They'll roll over there, and it's definitely slow, but Zac can't die to Baron realistically with the blobs.
That's a good point.
Gets it eventually, Life pulls away, and the Baron is deserved. KT tries to make a play happen against a comp that really can beat them, unless there's a huge vision advantage and Zenit free hitting. Both those things together didn't happen. Watch the replay again. Team fights for KT that are won should be about ricochets. Zenit's not doing any damage right now. And actually Gen.G, surprisingly, after taking out Aatrox, can kite back into this choke, and BDD's taken down because Zenit and BDD are away from their front lines, while the front lines on the top side aren't really achieving anything.
Yeah, and also the Frozen Throw is a big deal. They're zoning Zenit through a lot of that fight, and he walks around through the river, watches the rest of his team die in horror. Gen.G followed up with the Baron and an Inferno.
Clear calls coming there. It's a single shot caller voice.
And it's not Ruler.
Nope.
He's used as a weapon.
Wasn't Ruler or Peanut. Watching Gen.G push through the mid lane here. They've got the Baron buff now. They'll feel great about that. 4,300 damage by Ezreal. Confirmed, not 6 items yet, but things looking better than expected.
Whoa, okay, yeah, they don't kill the turret in time, as Zenit is relatively low.
Oh boy, every angle!
Over, though, as he gets Chilling Smited, kicked, and that's why he can't get out of the way of it. Life gonna go down as well, and we are playing tennis between these two teams. Peanut in a whole host of trouble, I believe, has the passive available, but if you're by yourself, you're still dead, my friend.
They get 3 kills on a double flank. We zoom out and see it. How much can KT get on the back end? The seesaw continues.
I just don't understand this series. It's one team win, next team win, one team win. I don't know. The yo-yo is super real. An inhibitor going to be the result here for KT. It's a negative 800 Baron power play, and you're right, Papa. I've seen this one before.
Risky.
Fly makes his way in, holds himself. Fair bit of damage going down, and KT not making the same mistake. One more time, they wanted to get the picks, but they didn't greed for the turret.
Can't end against Fly and Roach, too damn sticky. When it comes to try to take them down, they can wave clear. Both of them aren't killable. We back away, and the series extends.
Yep, it's about 1,000 gold in it. But how did this all happen, Papa? Look at them converge.
Watch the mini-map here.
KT is coming from all angles.
Lee Sin comes from the bot side, I believe, pinged out Realm Warp to get closer as Kingen comes from top lane. It's not the flying V we expected, but it's the flying V that might be a bit off, you know? A bit of a primary school V, but it works out in this case.
It's the flying V that suits this series, Papa.
Peanut gets chased down, BDD gets the Rune Prison to put his old teammate in prison for the moment. Right now, we're all a captive audience. There's no gold lead. There's no separation. There is no leagues above the enemy that we saw in our first series of the night. Gen.G and KT are just having this fight to the last. And to the last, the spoils.
Yeah, and there's no Jhin in this game, but you're right. Captive audience certainly relevant. And the curtain call is still not entirely made up on just yet because KT and Gen.G still fighting this one out. And I have a feeling that KT... they may just throw this tennis ball back over the other side of the court before too long. It's just been the flavor of this particular game. And KT haven't shored up what were some difficulties that we had the rest of the games in the series.
And I really do hope the viewers appreciate how nameplates on this series. It's easy to say, okay, Smeb and Score aren't there. I'm not convinced they would have changed too much. Remember, KT are 1-3, only beating Jhin Air. Yes, yeah. There is, of course, the upside of those two people playing at their peak. Not many upsides are coming to be from peaks from years previous, translated into 2019 meta. It's the young guys, right? It's the new orgs that have done so well in the 2019 season, and it's just the disparity between Sandbox Gaming, who we'll see play against Griffin later in this week. Griffin, of course, themselves, who are one of the newer orgs and promoted orgs, having relatively more success. KT and Gen.G just really still trying to understand where they are relevant in the 2019 season, and we can't close the door on anything with this best of 3 or this season, but what about closing the door on the birthday boy? He's damn tanky.
Yeah, he does have a Gargoyle Stone Plate, going to get pulled in with the Infernal Chain, but KT do back away. World Ender is there, but Snowflower, yes, is going to devour him, move on back, and that's the disengage call.
World's teams proudly months ago, now in this relegation dogfight. Maybe exactly a preview of bad things to come. Gen.G get to back away. Roach is not the one to collapse on in the side lane.
Teleport, bring him back in. Snowflower is the one cycling that one through, gets back on the map as quickly as possible. Zenit coming down as well, but holds on to his TP just in case he needs to get back in again. He has a Mercurial Scimitar. That's 4 items on the Sivir. Death what the heck marks have not been hit just yet. But
hey, a roller coaster.
Yeah, you can see the roller coaster. I still see it as the blue bits being islands and just a view of a horizon over the water. And if it is one of those, then you're looking at not necessarily the cleanest video game possible.
Heart Palpitation's another good one for some of these gold leads, because I'm sure fan bases around the world and here at Lowell Park are feeling what has been a topsy-turvy series.
Well, it's continuing down that route, but Ruler does have both of his mana items stacked up. Seraph's Embrace, Muramana both there to match the 4 items that Zenit has already picked up for himself. But what's going to be more important? Is it going to be whether or not KT can jump on top of Ruler with everyone, or is it going to be if Zenit can avoid this sort of gank?
Zenit not free hitting in a team fight should be team fight victory. Gen.G, they reposition and do damage so much easier. That is just the reality of the kit difference between Ezreal and Sivir in a nutshell. Kiting upwards towards the Baron. Elder's off the map for a long time. 4 minutes at this point in the game. Feels like an age. So given that all, Umpty and Zenit, you have to once again expect that KT will trip up in some of their rotational play and movements. They had a nice play with the Realm Warp and Abyssal Voyage earlier, but Umpty on Jhin Air was largely in these parts of the games where he could just be caught in the wrong part of the map at the wrong time. Kingen still also forging a reputation. Smeb, usually the shot caller, he's not playing. Score, the backup shot caller, also not playing. I assume BDD is the big voice.
Oh yeah, Ruler taking a lot of damage, but that might have been the bait as Snowflower gets the Devour in. They do get the first pick off in the fight though. Umpty with the flash off cooldown is going to die first, and Kingen turns up a little bit late to this particular party.
Peanut can just load up, go in, they find one person's the enemy smite. Is there any way KT don't sacrifice Baron for this? Surely the answer to that is no. KT, they know Gen.G is on Baron. How do they react?
Yeah, are they actually just going to go over and try and challenge for it? They got a couple of Cloud Drakes, meaning that this movement speed is certainly a big deal. Smite had been picked up by Snowflower as they're going to get themselves into the pit. Is this a true 50-50? It's going to be taken by Peanut. He's got Smites in the past, going to get one here, but can they win the team fight? Fly going to go down. Zenit relatively safe fighting in this fight as he gets some autos onto Ruler. Now has to press all the buttons to get out of the way of Peanut. B2D devoured as Snowflower's trying to save them. Decent shield comes in for Peanut, but the cleanup is there, and Ruler, when he's arcane shifting forward, you know that Gen.G have won the fight.
Team fight spacing 5v4, oh so much easier. Zenit couldn't free auto multiple tanks, only Peanut's health bar is near him. Double smite on Gen.G as well. Roach into Peanut enough to pick up the objective. They get it down, they rush through mid, and with death timers getting long, I don't even know if Sivir can stop Gen.G winning the series.
Exactly right, not through the Baroned up minions as they are taking these turrets down so quickly. Gen.G wanting to prove that they are still the bane of KT Rolster. Has been the case for a long time. KT bucked the trend just once, but looks like they're not quite able to do it again as Nexus turret's now under fire. Kidnap not going to get onto Zenit as Umpty has respawned, but Zenit going into stasis is not going to save you now. He gets disdained. The fear is beyond death as Gen.G will destroy the Nexus and win the series.
So important for both teams, and Gen.G just, and I mean just, get over the line to the rapturous applause of their fans. Roach is a happy birthday boy after all. He missed his surprise party, but he came for the after party, and the after party sounds pretty good. If you're here live in Lowell Park, they're able to pick up the victory at 20 minutes before midnight.
And if
Korean
you remember,
Standard Time, it was a weird one, it was a long one, but it's a Gen.G victory after all.
Yep, he just wanted to have as much time here in Lowell Park as he could possibly get, very close to 4 hours on the stage. As our Gen.G will take a bow, well deserved in this series, but is it a good sign as we have a look back, as we open our field of view to see what this means as far as level of play from both of these squads? Back-to-back messy series coming through from Gen.G, and you can see how happy they are that it's over, ready to go to bed, but Peanut finally with a wry smile on his face.
Finally, one of Gen.G or KT is on a win streak, and in the micro, that matters. Getting away from Jinair, suddenly something that KT have to think about. Gen.G are now a series clear. And also importantly, Atlas, think about the last 3-game series that Gen.G lost, which was against Afrika Freaks, and they were just so demolished to go 0-3 to Afrika's autofill shenanigans. Now they come in, hard-fought victory over KT Rolster, and at the end of the season, will this be a separation of second and third or third and fourth? Probably not, at least based on how things look, but you got to talk about the today. You got to find momentum somewhere, and at least they're on a win streak. It's the least you can get, but it's the win streak they have to accept.
Yeah, you can see Umpty spilling his water bottle there just a little bit, not onto the computers or anything like that, but KT wanting to get onto their break, wanting to look at what has gone wrong and try to adjust. You mentioned the score interview that Ashley Kang did put out for all of us, and it was eye-opening to look at him wanting to go back to basics and really focus on getting their team together as a unit rather than what has been happening so far, because it has been a humbling experience for the man that just recently held up the LCK trophy.
KT Rolster's super team was the epitome of too many cooks can spoil the broth. The problem now is, feels like sometimes there aren't any cooks, and the broth isn't even being made, and they're not winning matches out. It's not a joke. This is a concern for our reigning champions. Could potentially, right now, look like the team most likely to go into relegations. That is what we are talking about. That is what is happening here on the Rift. This was a very extended game. The elastic slingshot felt like a bit of a kind of shotgun shell every time we went into the pause and out of the pause, so the slingshot perhaps one of the apt comparisons. There is one on screen, but a little bit later in the game. Some pretty crazy team fights, and some of them were actually navigated very well from KT Rolster. This was the Realm War
This was
play.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh, man.
Cut
this
the video.
was
Cut the video,
so
guys.
Good
Cut the video.
You know what? Good news. When KT play, we've got a highlight clip to show before the
there
game
we go.
starts.
There we go. Normally you don't show highlights from the opposition. However, this is just highlights from this particular game. And You guys may have forgotten that this even happened or may have just recently woke up. This was a position in this game after we had the extended pause.
But the return throw had to happen. The Fiesta had to happen. And I think KT just tried too hard and then end up getting the least out of Sivir and Rise possible. Rise, again, zoned. There's 3 people kiting back. Meanwhile, the front line for KT is kiting it all. They're just fighting against Roach and another enemy on the top side of the map. Curious, but again, given nameplates, understandable. In that particular play, watching the mid lane plays here, there was a lot of different fights happening. This was, of course, the Flying V that looked a bit different, but was super effective. The throwback, we'll call it, in
another
this
one.
game.
It went up and down and up and down and up and down. It was the roller coaster, but in the end, it was Gen.G that stopped it. Wasn't the case in game 1, but KT couldn't keep the consistency, and this was, like you say, the throwback, but I believe it happened another couple of times. Man, it was an undulating series, and then some.
And you might say KT get off the roller coaster. It's too much one way and the other. I'm not sure they might like the stop they find if the roller coaster ends and they don't stop the musical chairs, because they still don't have a strongest 5. Coming this far into the season seems like scrims and Casper Cup and all those things. I haven't counted for full information. I love Peanut and Roach this fight, by the way. There was never times for Ricochet to get value. They really positioned well on Zac and Urgot at the end.
That's not to say the Sivir wasn't actually getting some auto attacks in there, but as you can see on the gold graph, guys, in the end, Gen.G did do it, but they overcame some deficits that were getting pretty large as well. I'm a bit sad that we don't actually have a key on this graph to understand exactly how far things fluctuated.
And you just know that all 11 players that took to the Rift today, including QV, who of course didn't see out the series, are going to be just shattered at this point when it comes to the long pauses, all the breaks in the action.
Yeah.
Everyone out there that joined us for all of today's action, especially if you just joined in for the second series, definitely the better part of 4 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes. We still have an interview and some very tired boys talk about it.
Yes, exactly.
And remember, shout out to the Gen.G boys, because there's going to be some midnight interviews with the media as well after all this. The commitments don't end. And they got more League of Legends to play as Ruler picks up the double MVP. I think Roach is kind of cruelly done in this series.
So
he deserved an MVP somewhere. Doesn't find one, but finds a birthday victory, and he'll take it.
Yeah, not necessarily just for having a birthday as well. I think that he played phenomenally, especially after QV had a decent performance as well, as Snowflower just caught out of position. You mentioned how good the draft was against the Tahm Kench, but Peanut did still have to play it out effectively, and he did so very, very nicely as well. On his Zac that he always seems to make work in the early game. I mean, how often does Peanut pick Zac and then get a first blood? I mean, it was happening a lot of the time when he was playing for Kingzone, and continues to be pretty much the same case. He uses it in the early game very well.
I know until summer season he had never lost in Korea, and his first professional loss was at MSI. So he has been a Korea Zac player of note. Always a Cinderhawk jungler. Finally get that interview with Jisun. She's going to be talking to Rule.
Thank you very much, guys. We're going to be joined by Rolster from Gen.G Esports. Well, first of all, I'm really unhappy because my performance was really bad, but victory is so important right now.
혁혁한 공을 세우셨습니다. 상대가 초반부터
Well, in
계속해서
the beginning of the
바텀
game,
저격질이 들어왔단 말이에요. 그때
they were
3경기
really
내내
taking
이즈로
care a
맞대응을
lot of the
하셨는데
bot
어떤
lane.
생각이셨나요?
And you played 3 Ezreal games in a row. Well, I was aware that Zenith is a really good non-AD carry player, so that's why I stick to playing Ezreal.
자, 장면 보면서 얘기를 나눌 텐데요. 억제기를 수비해내는 장면이 있었어요. 그때 굉장히 위협적인
Let's go through these
장면이었는데
highlights.
혹시 질 것이라는 것에 대한
Well,
부담감은
actually,
없으셨나요? 이 장면이
KT players were so close to closing out the game, but you guys were able to defend it and turn the game around.
이때는 혹시 어떤 콜이
Well, we had the confidence that we could stop them, and Shaco was mainly about let's just kill them all. I can't really remember
여기서
exactly.
이렇게 멋진 역전을 이뤄내면서 승리를 가져갔습니다. 2세트 얘기였고요. 자, 3경기 얘기를 해볼 텐데 굉장히
Game
엎치락
three.
뒤치락 많이 했잖아요.
was going back and forth.
이때 어디 즈음에서 승리를 예상하셨나요?
So when did you feel like you gained the firm momentum to close out the game?
기억이 잘 안 나는데 너무 퍼즈가 오래돼서
Well, there was a really long pause, so I can't really remember exactly. Yeah, I can't really remember. I think I have to go through some highlights.
오늘 풀세트 접전 끝에 승리를 하셨습니다. 경기가 또 길기도 했고요.
It was a very
특별히
extended
긍정적인 아쉬운
game.
점 있으셨는지?
Is there any last comments? I was really struggling for
제
you.
경기력이 너무 좀 좋지
My
않았던 것
performance
같아서
was
이번
really
대회는
bad.
너무 그게 좀 팀원들한테도 좀
I'm really
미안하고
sorry for my teammates.
좀 더 기복 없이 잘해야 될 것
I
같아요.
wanna
그게 좀
be
아쉬운 점인
a-
것 같아요.
more like a
하지만
consistent player.
팀적으로 이 룰러 엔딩이라는 말이 있을
However,
정도로 팀원들이 많이
People call
의지를
Gen.G
하는
play
것
style as a
같습니다.
ruler
스스로는
ending.
어떻게 생각하세요?
You know, they rely on your
저희
words.
팀이 되게 다 잘하는 선수라고 생각을 해서
I
저는
mean, all of our
개인적으로
players
그런
are
생각 같은 건
doing
하나도
so well.
없고
I don't
그냥
feel like
저만 잘하면
that is our
이긴다고
style. I
네, 그리고
just
지난 인터뷰
feel like
때 바텀 듀오의
I just need to
호흡이
practice
아주
more.
인상적이었다는 얘기가 많았어요.
네.
오늘은 어떠셨나요, 라이프 선수?
How was your performance with Life today?
오늘은 그냥 보통 정도 했던
Today,
것 같아요.
it was just like normal.
같은 면에서는.
Yeah, overall.
계속 아쉽다는 얘기를 많이 해주셔서 네, 그런데 혹시 가장 아쉬운 점이 있었다면
Why were you so
하나
unsatisfied
말씀해
from your play today?
그냥
Well,
개인적인 실수가 좀 많이 나온
there
게 좀
were
많이
some mistakes
아쉬웠던
during
것
the
같고
games,
없애야 될 것 같습니다.
and I have to get rid of it.
자, 오늘 로치 선수 생일입니다. 생일
And
축하한다고
today is
한
Rochi's
말씀
birthday.
해주세요.
Any
선물
birthday
선물해
wishes for him?
주셨는데.
사실 제가 왜 MVP를 받은지 잘 모르겠긴 하지만 그만큼 좀 우리 팀이 잘해줬다고
I don't
생각하고
know why I got the MVP. I don't really deserve
그래도
it. All of my
생일날에
teammates were
이겨서
doing so well. But it's
맛있는
really
거
good
먹으면
that
될것 같습니다.
we won the
네,
victory, so we can go
알겠습니다.
out for
자, 오늘
some great
젠지
dinner together.
관계자분과 또 CEO께서도 오셨습니다.
And I heard that
많이
Gen.G
부담되진
CEO is also
않으셨나요?
out here.
조금은 됐는데
I did feel a bit of a pressure,
그래도 이기는 모습 보여드려야 좋아하시지
but I
않을까
also wanted to show us
열심히
winning
했었던 것
today.
네,
So
오늘
that
정말
was also
좋아하실
the
것
motivation for
같습니다.
us.
자, 2승했으니 이제 3승을 향해 가야죠. 다음 경기는 킹존입니다.
So your next opponent
이기면
will be
순위를 더
킹존.
끌어올릴 수 있을 것 같습니다.
Dragon X,
그건 말씀 부탁드립니다.
is there any last message?
사실 제가 오늘처럼 이렇게 대회를 하면은
Today,
되게 힘들 것
I was really
같다고 생각하는데
underperforming.
최대한 빨리
if I
개선해서
perform like this,
좋은 모습으로
it's gonna be a hard
돌아오겠습니다.
match. So I'm gonna make
네,
sure to come back with
알겠습니다.
better
자,
performance.
오늘로써 MVP 공동 1위를
So you are on the
달성하신
first
룰러
place
선수
in the MVP
만나봤고요.
standings.
네, 제가 늦게 알려드려서 죄송합니다. 오늘은 안녕 해주실 거예요?
Can you say goodbye to the fans?
알겠습니다.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 룰러 선수와의 인터뷰였고요.
So this will be the
저희는
end of
여기서
the
인터뷰
interview with Ruler.
마치겠습니다. 또
And
만나요.
pass it back to the
안녕.
casters. Thank you.
안녕히 가세요.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun.